Imagine waking up one day to a revelation so profound, it shakes the very foundation of your existence. What if the life you've been living was never truly yours? Every decision you've made, every belief you hold, even the desires that seem to define you, are they the echoes of your own soul or the carefully placed whispers of the world around you? What if they were never yours to begin with? What if they were merely shadows cast by the expectations of others? The weight of conditioning, the invisible hand of society shaping you long before you ever had a say. Take a moment, breathe, ask yourself, who are you truly? And how much of the person you believe yourself to be was ever really yours? How much of your identity is an authentic reflection of your innermost self? And how much of it is a carefully constructed facade, crafted not by your own will, but by the forces of society, culture, and fear itself? How often do you feel like an actor on a stage, bound to a script you never wrote? Living a life dictated by tradition, by institutions, by the quiet demands of those who came before you? Today, we step into the depths of one of Carl Jung's most profound insights. Life does not truly begin until you find yourself. But what does it mean to find yourself? Is it merely an act of self-awareness, or does it demand something far greater, a transformation that strips away the illusions of identity and reveals the truth hidden beneath? Stay with me, because as we expose the unseen forces shaping your mind, you will come to understand why most people never break free, and how you can. And at the end of this journey, one final revelation awaits, a truth so powerful, so transformative, that it will not only change the way you see yourself, but the way you perceive reality itself. The unseen forces that shape you. Carl Gustav Jung was not just a psychologist. He was a pioneer, a man who dared to venture into the hidden depths of the mind. Unlike many of his contemporaries, Jung did not believe that mental well-being meant simply adjusting to societal norms. Instead, he saw psychological growth as a quest, a journey into the unknown, a process he called individuation, the art of becoming one's most authentic self. But here's the reality. Most people never take that journey. They live inside a version of themselves shaped by external forces. They conform, they adapt, and they never ask the most important question, is this truly who I am? They seek validation from the world, believing happiness comes from acceptance, approval, success, all the while ignoring the quiet unrest that lingers beneath the surface. Jung believed that true life begins only when we stop running from ourselves. But before we can speak of finding ourselves, we must first understand what prevents most people from ever doing so. The prison of conditioning, how we lose ourselves. From the moment we enter this world, we are given a name, an identity, a role. We are taught what is acceptable and what is not, what is rewarded, what is punished. This process is so gradual, so subtle, that we rarely question it. Instead, we adapt, we obey. And over time, we learn to suppress the parts of ourselves that do not align with what is expected of us. Think back to your childhood. Were there moments when you expressed yourself freely, only to be met with disapproval? Were you told to be realistic, to stop dreaming, to toughen up or not be so sensitive? Slowly, without realizing it, you began to hide those parts of yourself. You tucked them away where no one could see them. And in doing so, you began to build a mask. Jung called this mask the persona. It is the face we present to the world, the version of ourselves that is socially acceptable. It allows us to function, to navigate relationships, to gain acceptance. But here lies the great tragedy. The more we identify with the persona, the more we lose touch with our true selves. We begin to believe we are the mask, forgetting that something deeper lies beneath it. And then there is the other side of the coin, the part of us we hide. Jung called it the shadow. The shadow. What we reject controls us. If the persona is what we show the world, then the shadow is what we conceal. It consists of everything we have rejected within ourselves, our fears, our unspoken desires, our vulnerabilities, even our hidden strengths. But here's the unsettling truth. The shadow does not disappear simply because we refuse to look at it. Instead, it operates beneath the surface, influencing our thoughts, our behaviors, our emotional reactions. It manifests unconsciously, often in the form of projection. Have you ever strongly disliked someone without truly understanding why? Have you ever been triggered by behaviors in others that seem to provoke a disproportionate emotional reaction? Jung believed that when we are disturbed by qualities in others, it is often because those qualities exist within ourselves, hidden deep within our own shadow. But what if I told you that within your shadow lies the key to true self-discovery? That the parts of yourself you have suppressed and ignored are not your enemies, but rather the missing pieces of your wholeness. Individuation, becoming whole. Jung's great insight was this: psychological growth is not about eliminating the shadow. It is about integrating it. It is about looking into the depths of your own unconscious and facing what you have denied. Because when you do, you unlock a profound source of personal power, authenticity, and freedom. This is where the real journey begins. Are you ready to confront the truth of who you are? To break free from the illusions that have shaped you? Because what comes next will challenge everything you thought you knew about yourself, and it will open the door to a life that is truly yours. The final revelation: the self is an illusion. Most people assume their identity is fixed, that they are a single, unchanging self moving through time. But Jung, along with great philosophers and mystics, understood something radical. The self is not static. It is fluid, ever-changing, and far greater than we have been led to believe. What if the version of you you identify with right now is only a fragment of something much larger? What if the person you think you are is just one expression of a limitless consciousness, one that has been evolving for centuries? Jung called this the self, the totality of who you are. The moment you stop clinging to the idea of who you think you are, you unlock infinite possibilities. And now, the choice is yours. Will you continue to live as a fragment of your true self? Or will you step into the unknown, embracing the vast, limitless being that you were meant to become? Because life does not truly begin until you find yourself. And now you know the way.